Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome, take a seat, join the gang. If you're old here, what's up gang?
Am I really that much to handle? Breaking these niggas down like a camera. You don't really know you are.
If you're new here, hi again. As for new brothers to different names, my name is Naira and I'm an international student living in Canada. So today's video is gonna be about all the things I wish I knew before moving to Canada, and the things that would have saved me like time, money, and even some stress. If you're planning on moving here for school, work, or just for a fresh start, then this video is for you. I knew Canada was cold, but I didn't understand what minus 28, like it's minus 28, minus 30 felt like before I came here. I was still in my house thinking, oh, I've been like the AC in high school was on 16 and super cold. I'll be fine, I'll manage. The 60 AC super cold, like not super cold, the what's that setting? Extra breeze, something, there was a setting like that, but that setting does not even compare to the 16 here, like the natural weather. I don't know why I thought I would compare then, but clearly I was wrong, because what? Like, winter in Canada isn't just cold, it's layers on layers. Wind that cuts through your clothes and snowstorms that can last for days. But bro, that wind that cuts through your clothes, like your face will feel numb and your nose will be running and you will not even realize until you reach a one place, and then you start sniffling and you realize that, oh, my nose was actually running this whole time. Bro, it's so bad. So my advice for you, if you're coming from a warm country like I did, like I said before, I get to Military, I'm from Ghana. If I come from a warm country like I did, you need to invest in good gear before the cold hits. Let's say you're coming in the fall like I did, so September. In that same September that you land, before the cold fully hits, you should invest in stuff like a high quality winter coat. Like not one that's just fashionable, looks cute, but one that's actually functional. Like one that you know that if the wind starts hitting you, it will actually protect you. You should invest in waterproof insulated boots as well. When you're walking while it's snowing and stuff like that, it is gonna like melt and kind of make you cold and all that. So I've seen people wear Uggs, I've seen people wear Tims. I don't really know how good those are for the snow, like protecting against the, like how wet it is and stuff like that, but hey, that's what I see people wearing. Personally, I don't remember where I got my winter boots from, but I don't have Tims or Uggs or anything like that. But you should definitely invest in like waterproof insulated boots. Another thing you should like invest in heavily is like your thermal gear. Like, so thermal socks, scarves, gloves, a hat, but mostly like the thermal stuff you wear under your clothes, because you can layer, but if you have like a good pair or set of thermals underneath that protecting you like as your base layer, that layering would be like +90, cause bro, even with them sometimes it's not good. You still feel the cold biting at you and stuff like that. Canadian summers are actually very nice, and depending on where you live in Canada, you might even get hot weather, but just be prepared for the extremes. I don't necessarily live in a place that will get like really hot weather or anything in the summer. Like, we live closer to the sea and everything. Moving on to the next thing, money. I knew Canada wasn't the cheapest country when I was coming here, but I was so freaking surprised as how easy the expenses add up. Like how easy and how quickly the expenses add up. Hey, bro, it's not on the floor. It's not like the ground at all. You be there now, rents, then groceries, then transport. If you use the bus like me, like if you don't have a car, you pay like, it's different everywhere, but I'm saying like for St. John, you pay 70 to 50 a month for a pass, a monthly pass. Okay, if you have a car, I don't know how much it is like for insurance and everything monthly, but I'm pretty sure it's also very expensive. Well, probably more expensive, but hey, I'm only gonna speak on what I know. Then on top of that, you pay your phone bill. Phone bill is between 30 to some, like some of them $100 and something, depending on your plan and everything. Hey, is that how we do it from this time? You like add up all these expenses, these little expenses. By the time you realize, in a month you spent 1.4k. Hey. Like you can easily come and say, oh, I'm not spending that 1.4k, but circumstances could happen and you end up spending 1.4k plus in a month. It basically all just eats into your budget so quick, like in the snap, like with a snap of your fingers, in the twinkle of an eye. Your monthly budget has been exceeded and you don't even understand how. Well, here are some things I wish I planned for. Housing. I can't lie, rent is expensive, especially if you're going to cities like Toronto and Vancouver. If you're on a budget, honestly, I feel like you should consider living like further downtown or getting a roommate or something, because rent is so very expensive. Then talking of groceries, like food is expensive. Food is very expensive. If you like your food from back home and you're going to a big city like I said, Toronto or Vancouver, be prepared to hunt for like stores, for like international grocery stores, like African stores and stuff like that. They'll be expensive, way more expensive than normal groceries. I wouldn't say they are normal groceries, but way more expensive than their groceries that they have here. And Charlie, let's not get the money that goes into food, because you probably end up spending a lot on fast food, especially like when you first learn, because it's so quick and convenient. Plus, it's not something you're used to having a lot back home. Let's be so honest. Even if you eat fast food every day in your house, you still eat a lot more local food than you will fast food. And here it's more readily accessible. But those small like expenses, the way they eat into your budget, it's so shocking. Then talking of transportation, like I said, public transport, you end up paying, like for here in St. John, you end up paying a student's price of 70 to 50 a month for public transport. In big cities, I think it's kind of fair, like it's kind of decent. But outside those big cities, especially places that you not really get readily, like those places that you not readily get public transport, it's gonna be hard. Like it's gonna be very hard, and you're gonna need a car. And the whole process of getting a license here, I can't lie, that one too is long and is very. If you're impatient, you suffer. That's what it is. Especially if you're like me and you don't have a license already from home, because even having a license from home and exchanging it is hard. Then you don't have a license from home and you're coming to, oh Charlie, baby, let's talk about taxes. The price of the things in the store that you see, that's not the final price. You see something and be like, oh, $2.50, that's a fair price for this thing. No, each province and their tax here that you pay on each item. I don't know if it's on each item or if it's on your total. Well, I'm not really sure. but the taxes get factored in at checkout. So let's say your total bill is $50. Don't forget to add, so for here in New Brunswick, I think it's a 15% tax. Don't forget to add that 15% tax before you go. Like as you're doing your calculations, make sure you add in your 15% tax before you go to checkout, because you don't want to get there and be shocked to the point where you cannot even pay. Especially before you move, we always save you from financial stress later. Although you might still end up exceeding your budget due to unforeseen circumstances, but budgeting will always help you in the long run. One thing I underestimated was cultural shocks. Like Canada is diverse and welcoming, but there are some things about like Canadian culture that I'm still in the process of getting used to some of them. So here are a few of them. Like Canadians are really polite, but I don't know if that's kind of changing, but most Canadians are really polite, and sometimes it's excessive, but it's coming from a place like Ghana. Even when there's something you do, add please and things like that. So it wasn't too bad of a shift with that one, but it's still a cultural shock if you're coming from another country that's not really used to hearing please, thank you, sorry every few seconds. Yeah. Then personal space is also a big thing here. Like people like their space, especially when you're in like a public setting, and maybe I don't know how to explain it, but people really like their personal space here, and it's sometimes it's very not hard, but sometimes it's very depending on the type of person you are. If you're like me and you're like you like to be in your friend's space, which I'm not saying is a good thing, but if you're like me and you really like to be around your friends all the time, it's gonna come to you as a shock. But they really like their personal space a lot here. But some people are also very clingy, so I guess it kind of balances out. So, yeah. Making small talk is common. That's another thing. Well, not necessarily you initiating it, but small talk is common, especially about the weather over here. So you probably have to like get used to strangers chatting with you in a line at a store, like waiting for food, waiting for the bus. It can be very weird at first, especially if you're coming from a place that has a certain mindset of like people just randomly talking to you in public and stuff like that. But it's very common here. Punctuality. My dear African people, punctuality really matters. Like if it's a certain where is all my African people are meeting, maybe you can say, oh, African man time, we're all gonna be late, so I'll not be early. But for them, especially in a professional setting or with appointments and stuff like that, punctuality matters. If you are late, you might lose that job opportunity. Like some might listen to reason, but most, like per my experience, most won't. If you are late, and that goes against you. So adapting to and that goes against you. So adapting to these small cultural differences makes settling in a lot easier for you. Like if you're moving to Canada for work or planning to get a job while studying, here's what you should know. Getting a job isn't always easy. You may have experience from back home, but most job opportunities will still require you to have Canadian work experience, or expect you to have Canadian work experience before they will hire you. Sometimes even if you have said work experience, they'll still feel like you're not qualified enough for the position. Most jobs come from who you know, so you have to build those connections early on. If you're an international student, you have to make sure to check your visa and permit restrictions, because there's a limit on how many hours you can work, and if you exceed that, there's no telling what might happen to you. Maybe some people get away with it, but you might not be the lucky one to actually get away with it. And you could be, I think you could be deported. Don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely sure on all that. Also, if you plan to stay in Canada after your graduation, research the immigration pathways early. Don't wait until the last minute, because you don't know how long it's going to take. Finding a job can be really tough, especially in times like this where a lot of international students are moving here for various reasons. It can be very tough, but it gets easier with time. So don't give up. Just keep applying, keep showing up, and trust God. One thing I really wish I had understood before moving to Canada was their healthcare system. It's public, yes, but it's not the same for everyone. Some provinces offer free healthcare for international students. And for some things, so you have to make sure to check your province's rules. Even if you have coverage, not everything is free. Dental care, vision, and prescriptions often aren't included in your coverage. Walk-in clinics have long wait times, and booking a doctor's appointment isn't always quick. You can be on the wait list for a doctor's appointment for months, sometimes years, before they finally reach out to you to book an appointment. That would actually even take a longer time. It's crazy actually. So my advice for you, get health insurance if it's not provided for you, and always have a plan for like medical emergency. So moving on to like loneliness and your mental health. Moving to a new country is exciting, don't get me wrong, but it can be really very lonely. Like, take it from me, it can be really lonely. You're away from family, you're away from friends and everything familiar. You have to like build your own connections and everything. Being an introvert, it can be really tough, especially when the weather is cold and you don't want to be outside. But you have to stay connected with people back home. You have to do regular calls, video chats, all those things. They make a difference. So you have to make an effort to meet new people, even when you feel uncomfortable. Because I remember my first semester, I had to step out of my comfort zone and actually go out there and talk to people, meet new people, and make friends. That was so uncomfortable, but it really helped me, and I actually have friends now, but I'm always inside my house. That's a different case though. You have to get involved in community groups, clubs, like activities generally that avoid isolation. But I feel like the major thing for me is prioritize your mental health. Canada has resources for students and newcomers, so don't be afraid to use them. It's okay to feel lonely sometimes. Everybody feels lonely sometimes, but having a plan helps you push through those moments. A huge thing I wish I knew a lot more about before moving to Canada was the legal side of things. I'm still not up to date with the legal side of things. I still don't know a lot about the legal side of things. But here are some important points that you could look into or like further your knowledge on. Your visa requirements. You always have to stay up to date with your study and work permit regulations. So if you're thinking about staying long term, you have to look into like the PR pathways early. Don't start at last minute. Let's say your 4th year of uni, then you're now looking at PR pathways. Now you have to start early so that you can maybe figure out how you're going to go about the process early, or actually start the process early, so you are not caught lucky. Your travel restrictions. So if you plan on visiting home or like generally traveling, you have to make sure to look at like your visa and re-entry like rules that they may have set. Knowing all these details ahead of time can help prevent a lot of stress down the road. So would I still move to Canada knowing other things that I know now? Absolutely. But I would have prepared much better. Canada is a great place to live, like honestly. But moving here comes with its challenges, and being informed makes all the difference. So if you're thinking about moving to Canada, or have already made the move maybe, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to help answer any questions if I'm able to answer them, or redirect you to a website or something that can help you answer them. And if you found this video helpful in any way, shape or form, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share, especially with anyone who you think might need this advice. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.